I'm Brian Wayne, and this is the Cheers to Comics podcast. This is episode 32, and this week I'll be raising my glass to all of the books that were released on the 22nd of May 2019, as well as talking about anything else relevant to the world of comic books. Full disclosure, I got a potty mouth, and I drop spoilers. If you're cool with all that, grab yourself a drink, and let's talk comics, but first let's talk news. And we're going to start out in bummer mode. Super fucking bummer mode. Justin Ponser, at the age of 42, has passed away of cancer, and he worked up until the very end. As a matter of fact, his name is in the credits of this very fucking show. Justin Ponser was an amazing color artist. He had a 15-year career with Marvel, and he worked for an indie company as the head colorist for a few years prior to that. He had a long-running history in a really short period of time. And he worked from the hospital bed until the end. So, to you, Justin Ponser, I will say there's something even more special about Justin Ponser. When I got back into comic books a few years ago, the first run I got into, he was the color artist for Invincible Iron Man, the first 5 issues. And he's fucking brilliant. There's not enough good things to say. And ask any creator out there, they'll say that he was just an overall dope dude. So, cheers to you, Justin. Now let's pick this shit up. Let's get happy, huh? Let's get fucking happy. Tom King's leaving Batman, bitches. Well, remember how he said he was going to do 100 issues, and that was his dream, to do 100 issues of Batman, and then he even said, you know what, I might even do 110, because I'm Tom King, bitch, I could do that. He's quitting at 85. I wonder why that could be. Perhaps it's the fact that he's not necessarily super well received with his last few books. You know, Batman has taken a dip. Batman for the longest time is the top selling comic. Well, we got other shit that's not top selling comic status anymore. So, fucking Tom King's leaving early. Now, with that being said, I want to speculate for a moment. Who could possibly take on Batman at this point? Well, I've got my choice right off the bat. Tom motherfucking Taylor. A dude cannot miss when it comes to telling a story. He's fun. He knows his lore, or with whatever character he's talking about. He has all of these individual voices down. And I'll give an example of that at some point when I start talking about War of the Realms books, because he did a dope one, but that's for another time. In the meantime, I mean, I guess we can rejoice that we know for a fact that Nightmares will come to an end by 2019. It's not that it's been terrible. It sounds like I'm trashing it. It's just not a very typical Batman story. Tom Taylor's not a very typical writer, and yeah. I think DC might be a little upset with what he did with Heroes in Crisis. He got cocky, said I could do whatever the fuck I want. I'm Tom Taylor. And I don't know a single person that has had anything good to say about this book.
You mean Tom Taylor or Tom King?
Tom King, my bad. Thank you. Yeah, no, Tom Taylor's, I don't know anybody that's ever said anything bad about Tom Taylor. But Tom King, yeah, no, he's kind of taken a bit of a spiral. Thank you, Mason, producer in the background. One more little piece of news. Marvel be biting. Throwing shade at DC like they do. We all know that DC's been soliciting this Year of the Villain for quite some time now. Well, Marvel decided that they're going to do, like I said back in previous podcasts, they're celebrating Marvel 80 years by just giving a Marvel 1000. There's no reason. They're just going to put Marvel 1000 on there because DC had Detective Comics and Action Comics cross the 1000 mark. Marvel's just going to, 1000. Well, now they're going to jump on the villain train, and they're doing, what are they doing? Bring on the bad guy. Yep. So throughout the summer, there's going to be assumedly 23 different variant issues. Some of the covers and titles and variant artists have been announced, and even some of the imagery has been announced, but I'd say about I don't know, 60% is to be determined. So, I know I've actually seen a couple of them that I'm buying into. That's for fucking sure. Sometimes Marvel gets me with their variants. But do what you got to do, Marvel. You know, you got to bite steez. Before I get on with the overviews, I want to talk about beer. It's the Cheers to Comics podcast. I left it up to Mason again to pick beer. What did we choose, Mason? Fucking Aspen Brewing Company. The season's blonde. So yeah, it's a blonde. It's delicious.
It's good.
It fuels the fire.
It fuels the cast.
Yes, it does fuel the cast. That it does. Let's get on with talking about last week's books. There were some spectacular books last week, and I'm gonna do my damnedest to not over talk about any of them because they all good. The Goon from Albatross, Funny Books. So, if you've been following the news at all, I think I mentioned on the last episode that the Goon finally is confirmed getting the fucking movie deal that Eric Powell has been pushing for quite some time. And it's going to be animated. And there's a lot of teasing that the bad guy, the villain, is going to be some fucker named Vinny Nasferatu. Who the fuck's Vinny Nasferatu? Well, I tell you what, if you read issue number 2 of the Goon, like I'm fixing to speed through, I'll tell you. Vinny Nasferatu he was this young fucker, typical, he wanted to be a bad kid, he was always bullied, goofy looking, never fit in, even tries to join a gang, and as he's trying to come up in the gang, he gets set up, and they're like, oh, go stay in that, boss wants you to go up in that creepy house and watch guard. Well, that creepy house just so happens to be Castle de Nasferatu. Well, Vinny goes up in there, and he impresses Nasferatu, and Nosferatu's like, oh, I'll take you on I'll teach you how to be a vampire, and he vampires him. And then Vinny is still super fucking evil, and Nasferatu, fuck you, you're dead, kills Nasferatu. Now he is Nasferatu. He's vampire ganging through town. Well, Goon finds out, and he ain't having it. He goes through and he sees all these impaled people on telephone wires and shit. And even Frankie, his little buddy. I love it. You see the Goon, he's taking a piss in a coffin, and Frankie's spray painting. This is what happens when you stick people on sticks in our town. And you get this moment where Goon's looking up at the graffiti, and he's like, that's the best you could do? He's like, well, you would have done better. And he's like, oh yeah, how about I'm going to rip your tongue out of your fucking asshole when you're done. And he's like, yeah, no, that works too. So you get an idea of what the fuck the tone of this story is about. And it's just ridiculous, goofy, whatever. Fact is, they introduce Vinny Nasferatu. He gets away, but Goon, only because Goon intimidates the fuck out of him. And yeah, that's issue 2 of Goon. Very, very, very excited to jump on this, and there couldn't be a better time. They just celebrated 20 years. The story's 20 years old. So Eric Powell's bringing it back. Let's move on to Kevin Eastman Studios, another low-key indie company. We got Drawing Blood, number 1. Kevin Eastman, David Avalon, Ben Bishop, and Brittany Peer. Cover. I got the variant cover by Kevin Eastman, because that's what you do when there's a variant cover by Kevin Eastman. You get it. Essentially what this is it is an ex-cartoonist, a fairly successful cartoonist, comic book drawer. And he's out of the game for whatever reason. They don't really explain why. And he's trying to get in with the Lithuanians, because that's the up-and-coming gang. Well, it's not working out well for him. He's got this buddy named Beastly. He's kind of his right hand. He's the voice of reason, if you will. Well, the Lithuanians thing doesn't quite work out. Beastly goes to our main character doesn't even have a name yet, which I find to be intriguing. They're naming all these other people, but what they're doing is they're fight clubbing this. You see what I'm going with there. Corneliusing him. Fucking Beastly goes up to our protagonist and says, your mentor, Frank Forrest, killed himself. Bam. Dead. Frank Forrest is the guy that took our character under his wing and taught him how to draw and blah, 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 blah. Well, Beastly's trying to say, why don't you get out of the gang shit? Why don't you use this as a reason to get back into comics, start drawing again? And you start seeing him refer to this comic called Ronin Ragdolls. Well, the fun thing about this week, and I'll mention it later on, Ronin Ragdolls, they actually produced a whole comic of it. It's a comic within a comic. So you get to see the comic that this character actually draws. Pretty fun. Well, as he's drawing it, the character comes to life, and he's like, fucking crazy shit. And he's like, oh, I'm fucking tripping. And they never really explain. It's fucking weird. It's Kevin Eastman. So that's the Ninja Turtles guy, in case you're not familiar. But yeah, that's what you get out of this. And then he gets caught up in a fucking alley again. And he's just back and forth. Is he a gang member? Is he a drawer? The drawing's not working out. It's fucking with his brain. I don't know. This is a number 1, so I don't know what the fuck to make out of it. Whoops. Let's move on to Image Comics. Middlewest, number 7, Scotty Young, Jorge Corona, Jean-Francois Boileau, and Nate Pecos. The last issue, Abel be angry. And when Abel get angry, he turns into a giant tornado monster, as you've been reading throughout this story. He's fucking shit up at this carnival after the Maggie, the carnival runner, brought him in. Said, you're one of us. Something pisses him off. He goes crazy. He's fucking everything up. Well, he's unstoppable at this point. The last time he started to freak out, Maggie came in and did her little voodoo before he can go full tornado monster, and it all worked out. Well, her fucking voodoo isn't working. Well, her brother just so happens to be on his way because Abel's psychopathic dad just showed up to Jed, and her brother being Jed, the creepy old man in the woods. Yeah, that guy. So he shows up trying to warn Abel and Maggie of Abel's dad coming, but in the meantime, Abel's fucking shit up. He's powerful enough of a wizard, I guess, to calm things down, but Maggie, you know what? Casts him out. Peace, be gone, bitch. So Fox and Abel out in the woods, and yeah, their shit's fucked up again. It's and then the last panel is another cliffhanger where Fox hears like a twig snapping or something in the background, just as they're saying it couldn't possibly get worse. Well, there's indication that maybe Abel's daddy found him. I don't know. Middlewest I can't say enough about it. It's Eisner nominated for a reason, so yeah, it's for everyone too. Actually, if anything, I would say it's a really good jumping on point for a teenager, but it's still very, very worthy of an adult. I mean, Jorge Corona's fucking art is amazing. Assassination, number 3. Image Skybound. Kyle Starks and Erica Henderson. So the first issue was as fun as you can get for a goofy number 1. The second issue kind of leveled out like an issue number 2 typically does. And I was worried that maybe this new comic is just kind of, subpar. It jumps right back up to the excitement level of issue number 1 immediately. So the last issue, really, the only major exciting thing that happened is one of the twins, the fucking Mamba twins. He did. Sister wants revenge. They all believe that it was the crime boss and Cheeto sending out the number 1 assassin, and they say the number 1 because it's literally ranked in the book, because that's how this world works. It's all about assassin rankings. So Taipon is the only one that didn't show up in that first issue, so they immediately suspected him of fucking up the initial meeting. And then later on, drone striking is his MO, and they figure that this Enchindo feller put him up to it. Their mission, go track down Enchindo. How are they going to get to this major crime boss? Well, he just so happens to have scheduled medical appointments every once in a while, because he's a super old dude. And they start arguing, like, why wouldn't they just have the doctor come to him if he's super whatever? And then they just kind of brush that under the rug. They meet him up at the doctor just as they planned, and the guy's like, dude, it's not me. I'm being set up. And they explain, he explains, I'm super rich. Don't you think I'd have the doctor come to me? And they're like, oh yeah, we thought about that. Well, drone strike, boom. Taipon shows up, and he kills the other Mamba twin. Motherfuckers are dropping off like, this is fucking crazy. Don't get attached to any of these characters. But I will say that my favorite part of the book, once again, involves the great Fuck Tarkington. Fuck Tarkington being the favorite. We know Dave is the fanboy assassin. He's still an assassin, but he doesn't feel like he belongs at all. During all of the meetings, he's always trying to be the voice of reason, but in a kind of a sissy sense. And he's having this, he's really trying to get in with Fuck Tarkington. He's like, hey, why don't you come to a Cubs game? And he's like, Cubs game? What's that? Is that like bear wrestling? I wrestled a bear when I was a kid. That's Fuck Tarkington. It's, man, this book is just fun. It's fun. Kyle Starks and Erica Henderson are killing it. And now they know they gotta go after Typon. So, fun shit. That's all the indie comics I got this. Let's, open a beer and get on to DC. Flash, number 71. Year 1, Part 2. Joshua Williamson, Howard Porter, and Hi-Fi doing the colors. And Porter and Hi-Fi also did the cover as well. I got my L's and my V's mixed up there. Did you hear that? So, this is the Flash origin story. Again, I don't know why. I really don't know why. I don't understand. I haven't been reading Flash. I don't know why they would decide at issue 71, and after I don't know how many years of Flash being a character, we're going to do another origin story. They're doing it. First issue, admittedly, didn't really impress me, but I was convinced by other comic book nerds to just give it another try. So I did. And it was better. It was better. I will say that. Future Barry is explaining to regular Barry, who in this is just really receiving his parries. He doesn't understand his abilities quite yet. And he tells them time loops are bad and blah, blah, blah. Don't do this, don't do that. Time travel rules that they don't really even actually lay down. They just say they're time travel rules that you have to abide by. Well, we get a villain called the Turtle. Turtle going after speedsters, you could only imagine. He's absorbing their speed so they can't be speedy because the Turtle's jealous because he's slow. I don't know. That's not me explaining that in a dicky way. That's me explaining that in a confused manner. Don't know if I understand Joshua Williamson's writing style. It just doesn't really grab me. I understand the story's decent though, and then they get on this cosmic treadmill or something, and young Barry goes back in time, and the Turtle's there. Bum bum bum. So that's the origin story of Flash for the second part. Year 1. I don't know. I don't know if I'm gonna. I don't think I'm interested in issue 3. I think I'm gonna drop Flash, to be honest. And maybe you guys could tell me how good it is. Batman Beyond number 32. Dan Jurgens, Rick Leonardi, Andy Parks, and Chris Sotomayor. Covered by Chris Samney and Matthew Wilson. Divide, Conquer, and Kill Part 2. So the last issue left off with Terry and a gravity chamber getting just pressurized on account of, what are their names? Split thought was one person, turned into two people. Fucking, they're siblings, obviously, based off the dialogue and the way they talk. Either that or they just really close. I don't know. There's definitely a brotherly camaraderie going on there. But between the two of them, one of them doesn't quite agree with killing Batman. The other one was very much about it. But it doesn't affect him. No one goes back to save him or anything like that. Meanwhile, brother Matt and Bruce, air quotes, and I'll get to that later, look beyond, saying Batman's gonna die. Matt says help him. Bruce says he's a lost cause. Going to bed, taking a nap. So you kind of get an idea there that there's something wrong with this. Isn't the Bruce that we know. There's no way he just let it go that easy. Well, Matt says, oh, well, this company, what's the name of the Powers Company, the place that Terry is infiltrating. we used to work with them, Wayne Enterprises, so we have power to their control room somehow. So let me just... And boom, power's down. Batman gets out safe and sound, comes back, and he gets back to the Batcave. Meanwhile, Bruce goes to gamble. And go gamble? He's fucking...
You can't use inside jokes on your podcast.
Oh, they'll get it. Eventually. Because eventually it'll be an inside joke with just listeners, because it'll come up enough. Starting something new.
That's not how this works.
It will. So yeah, no, he's going to gamble, and he's all about it, bitch. And he's pretty much talking, bitch. Bruce Wayne's in the house. $10 trillion on green, and yeah, that's what's happening. Clearly not Bruce. Meanwhile, we realize that Matt regroups. Batman regroups, going after Split again. Now I know how to face a teleporter, because the whole point, he thought he was a teleporter, when it was like, oh, there's two of them. Yeah, he's too fast. Well, Matt goes in there. Apparently now he's 100% ready. There's no way there could ever be a surprise after this 12-second fight that I just had with this last guy. Comic books, am I right? So he goes in there, and he's not a fucking teleporter. He's a speedster. But there's two speedsters. So when you put two speedsters with the same kind of mindset going on, moving really fast, it may seem like one's teleporting. He wasn't ready is the point. He's fucked up again. We go full circle. I love it. I love it so much. Meanwhile, back in Arkham, we get this tortured, straitjacketed feller. Assumingly a feller. Got big broad shoulders, so I don't know. I don't want to assume anything. But it's Bruce fucking Wayne. And the real Bruce Wayne. And that's, yeah, he's being tortured, so there's some fuckery afoot in Batman Beyond. I fucking love it, man. Batman Beyond is still one of my favorite titles. I highly recommend it. Detective Comics 1004. Peter J. Tomasi, Brad Walker, Andrew Hennessy, and Nathan Fairbairn. Covered by Walker, Hennessy, and Fairbairn. There's a dope fucking variant that goes to this as well. I'll get to later. We get the origin of the Arkham Knight, a.k.a. Astrid Arkham, a.k.a. fuck you, Bane, your origin story don't have shit on hers. She is... Dude, alright. Bitch was born by the Joker. So her daddy works in the Arkham Cuckoo facility. So does mommy. Mommy pregnant. Riot breaks out, and for whatever reason, but goddamn, it is dark and beautiful. All of the fuckers that are in, we got Clayface, Joker, Harley, and a couple others. They actually see to it that while this Miss Arkham is going into labor, they make sure that none of the other psychopaths in there get to her. So Clayface puts up this like sheet of clay and like a birthing curtain, and the Joker borns this baby, and it's fuck, dude. And it's more than just the story. That's Solomon Grundy is fucking like bashing the fuck out of people in the background, and as Two-Face and Poison Ivy are, ugh. And then just as the baby's born and the Joker's hanging it up and spanking it, Mom batarang to the fucking throat. But it wasn't Batman that did it. It was another psychopath that just got a hold of a batarang that he pulled out of a wall. Well, Batman's still remotely responsible for this, right? Fast forward, Daddy still works in Arkham Asylum. The girl's growing up, and she's close. Astrid's close to all these villains. Meanwhile, she starts getting a grudge for Batman, because, you know, Batman has this thing where he just, like, walks through the halls, Batman, you're not free because of me, and fear, and scary, and blah, blah, blah. And she don't like that. She don't appreciate that, and it's bubbling up in her. And eventually, over time, as she grows up, I forget how she learns, but she learns that it's a batarang that kills her mom. Straw that broke the camel's back, Arkham Knight is born. She's going to take back Gotham, make shit good again. I'm I am fully on board with this character. This is the best DC origin story I have read in a goddamn long time. And I stand by my words. I wasn't trying to be edgy when I say fuck your origin story, Bane. This is deep. This is dark. The Joker is the one that slapped your ass when as a baby. Make sure that you alive good. That's fuck, man. DC killed it this week. Yeah. I didn't get mad at DC. You know what? I didn't get mad at DC this week. Congratulations. Marvel. The thumb of approval for the viewer. Tony Stark, Iron Man, number 11, or 611 in legacy numbering. Dan Slott, Jim Zub, Valerio Schiti, and Edgar Delgado. And another wonderful fucking cover by Alexander Lozano. The beers are working. So, this is the aftermath of the whole Escape thing. Everybody's back. Nobody's in the Escape anymore. Motherboard, she gone. She did. Meanwhile, Controller's still fucking shit up. Controller's beefing up, and Wasp is trying to do all that by herself. Champions to the rescue. Champions show up. They're fucking up Controller as he's trying to just get more gains for no reason at all. He just wants to be the one with the most. His motives are goofy as fuck. He doesn't want to do anything with him. He just wants to be the scariest. Well, fact is, he is pretty much unstoppable. Meanwhile, with the aftermath of the last issue, Tony's lost in space, running out of air. Well, Miss Bane, who's been playing double agent here, gets Tony's long-lost brother Arno, who definitely doesn't have the same positive motives that Tony does. They've been secretly teaming up, actually trying to take down Tony, but they realize this might be a good chance for us to maybe look good. Let's get a hold of Rhodey. And they send Rhodey to space. And it's not, I specifically say Rhodey because for whatever reason, the War Machine costume doesn't come in. He's got this other mech bot thing. Maybe the War Machine costume isn't built for space, because they're always dogging Rhodey's armor. I don't know why. Iron Man go to fucking space. Sorry. Rhodey's my boy. Anyways, he goes to space. He saves him. He comes back, and he fights the Controller because he's got the God Killer armor. Well, after he fights the Controller with ease, Tony realizes this armor is not meant for this world. I mean, we just took down the Controller, who we've been struggling with for 6 issues, and we just took him down in fucking like a quarter panel. I mean, if you blink, you miss it. And they do that on purpose. And you realize just to get a point of how OP the suit is. Well, Tony gets out of the suit, self-destructs. That makes sense, right? You don't want this thing on Earth. Escape's fucked. That's project scrapped. Well, meanwhile, Miss Bane, or Sunset, however you want to name her, and Arno, they come out as heroes, even though they're bad guys. They also send out a recon team to maybe get some debris of this God Killer armor. And they come back with some, and now they have it, but they brush it under the rug. We're like, we're going to use this, but in like 14 or 15 issues probably. So yeah. And then we do get the moment. I guess we do got to touch on the fact that Tony Stark's biological parents, because that was a whole weird thing for those 5 issues. Them, meeting the fake Howard and Maria, and then Amanda and Andy. That was, yeah, weird. Amanda, at this point, she's torn. She's like, well, I guess I forgot to mention, they realize in the Escape that this Tony that is here is not actually the real Tony after all. Remember how Tony died in Civil War II and then was a hologram and came back? And because of whatever, Tony Stark doing his thing. Turns out this is actually just a reproduction of Tony. And people are a little torn about that, but not everybody's had the time to digest that. This is not Tony Stark anymore. And Mommy she's like, this ain't my son. Fucking goddamn clone. Looks like him, talks like him, sounds like him, but that ain't him. So we get that deep part. And then the last part, Tony is an alcoholic. So that's how we know Tony's not a thing. And that's really last page going Tony up to Rhodey. I need help. Yep, that's it. Well, one of the stronger issues. I mean, I like it's the 6-part story that was very roller coaster ended strong. So good job. There's also a Dragon Ball Z moment there for a second when God Killer's doing shit. For the first time, Dragon Ball Z becomes canon in Marvel Comics. That's a moment. Read the book, you'll find out. Doctor Strange, number 14, Legacy 404. Mark Waid, Barry Kitson, Scott Koblish, and Brian Reber, covered by Jesus Saez. So we know that ex-wife / sorceress, aka Clea, is paired up with Strange, and the whole point of this is to get Galactus out of the magic realm and back into our realm, or as they refer to it, the science realm. And long story short, they get him back there. Umar, the Dormammu's sister, gets teamed up for a second. Double cross. And yeah. They get Galactus back. They think everything's fine. Then all of a sudden Galactus' tummy hurts really, 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 really bad, to the point where the Watchers are counting down the final moments. Let's watch this. This is gonna suck, guys. But we can't look away. And that's essentially what's going on here. And what's happening is an altitude sickness. Dormammu, I told you double cross. Dormammu has possessed Galactus' body, so now we got Dormammu Galactus. Bum. And but who could have done this? Who could have possibly been able to concoct all of this weird shit? The devil, that too, Mephisto. And now Strange is trapped in another realm. Again, how did he get there? I don't know, they just kind of jumped to it, but I'm sure they'll explain it more in the next issue. Doctor Strange has been a lot of fun. I like when Galactus is a thing. Now Galactus and Dormammu is a thing. Galactidormammu. It's just fun to say. Miles Morales, Spider-Man, number 6, Legacy 246, Saladin Ahmed, Javier Garron, and David Curiel, covered by Marco Delfonso. Starling. So, hype, speculation, go buy them all. Go buy all of the copies. Go buy all of the copies of this book. If you see one on a shelf, buy it. Because this is going to be the most expensive book of the week soon. My nerd speculation, she will be the newest member of the Champions and the oldest member of the Champions. I don't know if you can count Scott Summers. I don't know. I haven't been reading since Scott came back, but let's get down to it. Starling. They're both Starling and Miles Morales are both after Tombstone. Starling thinks that Miles works for Tombstone because she's new to Brooklyn. She's from Detroit. Eventually, they find out, okay, you're not so bad after all. Maybe we have a crush. I'm Miles Morales. I gotta go back to school. School's still hard. I'm gonna go back after Tombstone. Oh, this is a convenient thing, Starling. You're here too again. I make that sound really bad, but really they're just, Saladin Ahmed is getting across the point. This is still a teenage boy trying to deal with teenage boy things. That's just my least favorite part of Spider-Man. So if you've noticed any trend of my Spider-Man talking to school shit, I just kind of breeze over it. Let's go back to Starling and Miles. Attack! They go in to get Tombstone. Tombstone is just fucking shit up with goddamn crazy looking, looks like something Rob Liefeld created. A weird fucking gun. Starling she's willing to kill, Miles isn't. He gets put in this position where essentially Miles Morales has to save Tombstone's life from being killed, and Tombstone ends up getting away. And then we get this lovey-dovey moment again where they're sitting on top of the rooftop, and without a blank, Starling's like, oh, check it out. I'm Vulture's grandkid. My name's fucking Adrian Toombs, and tell me everything about you, stranger in a mask who I think you should immediately trust me person. Denied. And she gets a little butthurt about that, and Miles goes and knocks on Uncle Aaron's door. We need to talk, and my man! That's literally the last thing he says. My man! And that's the book. Fact is, Starling will be dope. She's a bad bitch. She really is. And And how do you know how old she is? Because she looks young. There's a moment of dialogue in there. She's like, oh, yeah, we can go hang out at my place. And Miles is, oh, you got your own place, say word? And that's how she realizes, oh, you're a little kid, huh? Because you ain't got your own place. And yeah, and he's kind of, still talks like this, I bet. So, Miles Morales, gotta love it. Last book of the overviews. I was very, very skeptical about this book. When it comes to Star Wars, I've only read one character in my life, and that's Vader. I picked up this book for two reasons. One, writer redemption, and two, why not Jabba the Hutt? Why not? Greg Pak, Emilio Luis Roland, Boshi, Marco Turini, Andres Mosa, Rachel Rosenberg, and Nemus Minogue. Half of everybody worked here. Covered by Terry and Rachel Dotson. I bet they're married. So the Tuskens approach Jabba the Hutt, and they're asking him to seize all of the crazy traffic being done by the Jawas and the Imperials through their desert land. Denied. Meeting over. Foreshadowing something, though. The Tuskens play a big part. Next up, we got these outside traders. And they go up to Jabba, and they're seeking something called Tusken Wind. It's a wine, I guess. And Jabba pulls it. Oh, this? And he takes the slug. Or just a slug. He chugs the whole thing all in one gulp, and the traders are... Yeah, that stuff. Can we get more? Nope, denied. And don't you even think about going to the Great Dune at dusk when the Tuskens are making all of their stuff. Or you'll die. Okay, sure thing. We get this montage of all of these people getting messages. We get some Imperials. He's on the phone with the repo men saying, you can't take my home. And then he gets this call waiting saying... Tusken Wind is possibly obtainable. Apparently this stuff's super fucking expensive, and you just see dollar signs in his eyes, so the Imperials are also on their way. Meanwhile, we got the... Hold on, I forget what you call these things. What do you call those little fuckers? Jawas, yeah. And then the Jawas get a message too, so we get this whole meeting where we got the outside traders, Imperials, and Jawas in the desert, all trying to take... cornering the Tuskens. Meanwhile, Boba Fett, from the distance, takes everybody out. All of them, except for the Tuskens. Boba Fett just takes everybody out. And then the next page is the Tuskens with this whole cavalcade of... fucking caravan. Wrong word. Caravan of dead bodies and stormtroopers and everything. And they present this group of corpses to Jabba. And he's like, you know what? This is pretty fucking cool. I like this. I like how you made the effort to bring all these fuckers back to me. We'll seize traffic in your area. The end. It's just a fucking one-shot little... This is Jabba the Hutt. I like it. I enjoyed this story very, very much, actually. Greg Pak redeemed. Your Agent of Atlas racist bullshit is not transferred over in Star Wars, and for that, I thank you. Well, that does it for the overview for this episode. Let's move on to the stuff that didn't quite make the list, the honorable mentions. Relating back to Blood Writer Blood, Written in Blood, whatever it was, the Kevin Eastman one. Drawing Blood, thank you. That's the stuff. We do get Roman Ragdolls, which is the story that this unknown character wrote, and it's samurai cats or something. It was interesting. It's definitely not my style. I totally see the audience for it though. That's for damn sure. A Road of Bones, Duke, Cormac, and Birch from IDW. It was this was a semi-horror story. Don't really know how to explain it. That's why I didn't really make the overview, because I don't know how to explain it. I think that there's something else to this comic beyond it being a comic. I don't know if it was a show or a book or something. I don't know. I've heard Road of Bones somewhere else. I feel like there's more hype to it than I can deliver just fully. Wolverine Infinity Watch number 4. I stopped reading the series at number 2 because it's a mini series and it should just be read in bulk, I believe. Or I think it would suit me best to read it in bulk. I feel like none of the events tying into it now pertains to the current events going on in Marvel. This, but if you really, really need Wolverine with hot claws, because it hasn't been shown much lately.
Need Wolverine with hot claws.
Oh, then you should read Infinity Watch. And I feel like they're kind of brushing the hot claws thing under the rug. Besides this Infinity Watch story, I haven't seen. I mean, Wolverine's an X-Men now, since he's been back with the X-Men, and Cyclops and him are friends. Kinda again. Not one single hot claw. Not one hot claw. Action Comics number 1011, Leviathan Rising Part 5. Everybody's really, really, really excited about this Leviathan story. They say that this story will have weight on the entire DC universe. Leviathan means something. Unfortunately, it don't mean shit to me. This arc has been a little wishy-washy. It's up, it's down, it's interesting, it's not interesting. I think Amanda Waller kind of killed it for me. She's just, yeah. Jimmy Olsen is, I'm not having as much fun with this anymore. Hoping that this Leviathan story holds up. I actually have a bone to pick with this Leviathan thing, and I'll get to that at a later part of the podcast. Justice League Dark, number 11. It started out decent. Brought me in. Loved it. And then they decided 4 issues in that we're going to tie it into this weird event that nobody cares about. And 2 or 3 of the issues just made no fucking sense at all unless you were reading 6 other Wonder Woman comics that had the same title. And then it got good again. And then now it's just kind of draping off. Lords of Chaos is apparently the theme here, not to be confused with the rockumentary from Mayhem. Sorry, it's fresh on the brain. Martian Manhunter, number 5. This is a 12-issue maxi. Steve Orlando has a knack for being fucking weird, and this story's been fucking weird. I don't think I read the last 2 issues. I'm gonna collect all 12 issues and probably read it as a whole. Maybe I'll pin it all together for a trade negotiation or something. I don't know. It's just, I don't know. This is just a fucking weird take on Martian Manhunter and John coming to Earth and all of that. There's definitely an audience for it. That is all for the honorable mentions. So let's get on to the visual shit, the pretty shit, the shit that I hang on the wall, hence the name of the segment, Wall Books. This one right here, I was back and forth on. I saw the photo of it online, and I thought, it's pretty, but I don't know if that will suit in well. And then I saw somebody pick up a copy on Wednesday at the LCS, and I saw him hold it in hand, and that's a little bit prettier than the internet justified it to be. And then I found a copy of it myself, because there just so happened to be 2 in the stack. And I'm very, very excited. It's a Max Lim variant of, which one was it? I think Asgardians of the Galaxy. That's what it was. Max Lim of Asgardians of the Galaxy. It's Hela on there, just being green and purty like she does. The Goon number 2. So I bought this book twice because Alex Ross did a fucking variant. And when Alex Ross, he does Marvel shit. He does DC shit. You don't see him on a whole lot of indie titles. And when you do see him on an indie title, it's not usually something from Albatross Funny Books. Well, just goes to show how fucking relevant the Goon is fixing to be in pop culture. It's 20 years too late, but it's fixing to be a thing. And Alex Ross solidified that by doing a fucking cover of the Goon. God damn, is it fucking awesome. Mark Brooks, Detective Comics. He's been doing these Detective Comics variants, and they've been pretty. Well, this is the second part of a connecting variant, and we got the other side. We get the left half, or stage right half, of Batman's face, and then on that side, we get more of the Bat family, and even Zatanna for some. Why is Zatanna in there? I don't understand that. She's not a Bat family. confused. That's random as fuck. But we get Alfred and Catwoman and a few of the Robins because of all the Robins, and then a Batwoman again. She was on the other side. I'm gonna have to put them all together. There might be some duplicates going. It's fucking pretty though. It's pretty and it's red and it's Batman, and Mark Brooks is a fucking champion, and I get to meet him in just a few days at Comic-Con. The Flash.
Closing of the episode.
Yeah. The Flash number 71. A book that I didn't like, I bought twice. But that cover, Derek Chu's been fucking killing it with these covers. He did some dope Harley Quinn covers. He did 2 really good Harley Quinn covers. I even gave away a couple of them. Stay tuned for giveaways. And he did a Batgirl cover that was dope. Well, this Flash cover, it's really fucking cool. I mean, this is all the Flash covers lately have been very, very cartoony. And this one, it's just, I don't know, it's just different. It's just different, and it feels very Flash. You get a real good tone of Flash. I'm going to say Flash 5 more times. Flash, 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 Flash. Batgirl 35. Joshua Middleton is doing all types of Batgirl covers, and I own all of Joshua Middleton's Batgirl covers. I would say that he holds about a quarter of the wall of books that are the wall books. And that's all I got for the visuals. That is what I bought. Let's get on with some hypey hype, huh?
No, you got your picks.
Oh yeah, I gotta pick my favorite shit. What am I doing? Let's start with the covers. Flash.
I actually have input this week.
Yeah, what you got?
Iron Man God Killer.
Yeah, no, see, the thing is that every time that Alexander Lozano has been on the podcast, and Iron Man only comes out like once every 4 or 5 weeks, so it's not often, but he almost always gets my cover of the week. So I had to vary it up a little bit, and Derek Chu did really actually lay down a little bit of competition to that, but you're absolutely right. That God Killer is fucking dope. Super fucking dope. As far as the guts of the visuals, interiors, man, there's really there's a lot of good stuff this week. And I'm going to have to go with Detective Comics.
Goon.
The Goon, yeah, because it was all over the place. You're right. You're absolutely... You know what? I'm going to have to redact that statement. Goon does take it because it starts out... Eric Powell's he's so underrated. It starts out in like a pencil sketch, and then he just flexes all the way through. Something that fucking Sam Keith does throughout the book. I'm gonna do this page watercolor. I'm gonna do this page in fucking acrylic. I'm gonna do this page in oil. I'm gonna do this page where I hardly even draw anything, and you're gonna fucking love it because I am who I am. And the Goon flex that. That's a good call, man. The Goon 2 does take interiors of the week for sure. I'd have to agree. But my overall does go to Detective Comics. Whew, man, that origin story. That panel of Joker holding that baby up by the ankle, and oh man, that's good shit. And fucking Clayface making a goddamn curtain with his fucking and then just Poison Ivy sitting there doing nothing but looking pretty like Poison Ivy does best. It was so pretty, man. It's fuck. It also does take runner-up for the interiors for sure. So I'm curious to hear what your guys' picks of the week were. There was a whole bunch of shit to choose from, that's for damn sure. But that's mine, because, yeah. Now, I'm kicking shit.
I'm hearing it.
I'm excited.
Okay,
See me, I get all excited.
Hype?
Yeah, let's get on to hype.
All right.
Fucking, the mouse. Let's start out with Dark Horse Comics. Fight Club number 5, Chuck Palahniuk and Cameron Stewart and Dave McCaig. This book is fucking weird. And I'm reading it. I don't know how to explain it to you because it's fucking... I don't even know if Chuck Palahniuk knows what he's writing. But it's pretty to look at, and it's Fight Club. So I guess I'm hooked in. Hellboy vs. Lobster Johnson in the Ring of Death. It's a one-shot by Dark Horse made by Mark Mignola himself with Chris Robertson and Mike Norton and a few others. Just based off that old school fucking cover. Like that, dude. Yeah, no, I was buying it. And, they're doing more Stranger Things. That's back.
There's a Mystery Science Theater comic?
Yes, there is a Mystery Science Theater comic by Joel Hodgson.
Wait, no, Joel is writing it? That's the original host and creator. Okay.
Sweet.
Yeah, that's... Okay,
All
I
right.
might have to pick that up.
All right. Well, I might have to pick up a copy and bring it, and we'll have to talk about it.
Okay.
Stranger Things is back in comics again. Stranger Things 6, but number 1. Relating to season 3. I'm assuming. I don't know numbers. Jodie Hauser and Edgar Salazar. I'm not reading the Stranger Things comics. I hear they're super fucking good though. And they're different from the series, the Netflix series, but at the same time, still good. Oh, and the David Mack variant cover is pretty fucking amazing. So, oh shit, it's time for DC. You know that trailer that got 1.5 million views for that 28-second trailer? It's time. Scott Snyder and Greg Capullo and Jonathan Glapion taking on Batman for the last time. Most known for the New 52 Batman, some say the only good New 52 story. Well, Batman, the Last Night on Earth. I don't know what it's about, but he's walking around with a Joker head lantern, so it's probably, I don't. Scott Snyder's very hit or miss with me. I'm loving what he's doing right now at Justice League, but I'm not always a huge fan of him. I'd like to think that if he's going to go out and claim this to be his last Batman story ever, along with Greg Capullo, who is, I'm gonna be able to take this comic to him. Fucking, yeah, hype, I guess. Oh, man. Detective Comics Annual. Peter J. Tomasi and Travis Moore. I didn't know this was a thing. I'll definitely be reading this, especially after that dope-ass origin story. Doomsday Clock number 10, Jeff Johns and Gary Frank. It's about time that we progress with this story. Originally, it's supposed to be monthly release, and it was supposed to be done by now. Well, we've got... now. I think they're going tri-monthly now. Tri-monthly. It's not going to be done until 2020, but here's another issue if you want to retain all of this for 2 or 3 months. The point is I'll be reading this all in bulk. I haven't read a single issue. I hear it's really, really, really good, so I'm not going to miss it. Heroes in Crisis number 9, Tom King, Clay Mann, and Mitch Gerards. I forgot that this book was even a thing. I feel like issue 8 could have been a finale. And just, can you sense my lack of excitement? I'm going to buy it. I'm going to read it. I might tell you about it. We'll see. I just don't expect much out of this because I feel they explained everything they needed to explain in issue 8. Issue 9 is more than likely just going to be Batman telling Superman, or Flash, I told you so. This is where I got bones to pick. Superman Leviathan Rising number 1. Why are you mad at the Superman story? $9 fucking for this book that is pivotal to understanding the story of this Action Comics event that is laying down, that is incomprehensible to some. I may not be a smart man, but I do know what comics are, and I don't know what the fuck this Leviathan thing is in the last 5 issues. It's, like I said, say it again, it's roller coaster. But now you're gonna give me a $9 fucking issue? That's supposed to have fucking... Why couldn't you have just done this in the last 5 issues? Oh, I feel like the last 5 issues of Action Comics are fucking pointless. If you're going to give it to me all here, I don't know. I'm a little upset. You got my $9. Fucking... Oh, I get a discount. You got my $7.60. Done with DC again. Dynamite Entertainment. Never mind. IDW Entertainment. Dick Tracy Forever. Number 2, Michael Avon Oeming and Michael Avon Oeming. One and the same. It's not coincidence. They're not 2 people that do comics with the same name. It's a Dick Tracy story. I heard good things about number 1. I just so happened to miss it. I didn't read it, so I can't tell you from my own personal opinion, but yeah. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Urban Legends number 13, Gary Carlson and Frank Fosco. That's that story that's already been told. It's being retold, but now they're going to finish it. And in Technicolor, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Ongoing number 94, Tom Waltz, Kevin Eastman, and Dave Watcher. It's Ninja Turtles, enough said. Transformers number 6, Brian Ruckley and Bethany Guire-Smith. I keep saying this, but if a robot doesn't get punched in the face really fucking soon, I'm going to drop this book. I really have a lot of... I really wanted to get into Transformers. I like that with the art and everything, it's helping me learn the characters and all of that. I'm a fucking 80s kid that just miss Transformers for some reason. I don't know. But I want to be a Transformers fan, and this book is just, it's like reading fucking, if Lord of the Rings had a lore of lore of lore, that's how fucking boring this is becoming. Yep, lost a bunch of listeners. Fucking Image Comics. There's got to be something. You're goddamn right there is. Spawn number 297, Todd McFarlane and Jason Shawn Alexander. Up until 300, we're getting the history of Spawn wrapped up in 4 issues. I was very skeptical as to how they were going about doing this. How do you tell and get everybody in tune on 295 issues and 4 issues? Well, we got the first 70 issues wrapped up in the first issue, so I have faith. It was done very brilliantly. There's nothing rushed about it. McFarlane pretty much said, this is what you need to know if you want to get into Spawn now. The fact is, there is never, ever, ever in the history of Spawn since issue 1, and maybe even issue 2, this is probably even a better jumping on point than issue 250. This is the time to get into Spawn, especially with this movie that people are doubting will ever happen. I believe. Marvel Comics, Age of X-Men Apocalypse and the Extracts, never mind. Age of X-Men and the Extremists, Lee Williams and George Janty. I'm not reading any of the Age of Apocalypse books anymore, unfortunately. Let's talk about Spider-Man. Amazing Spider-Man number 22, Nick Spencer and Humberto Ramos. The saga concludes. What saga? The Hunted Saga. That's the one. It's okay. Craven's dope. I like when Craven talks. That's been the best part about it.
Hunted's fine, but the Hunted point HUs.
Those I am super fucking disappointed in. And I will reiterate again, my hype was super high for him because at the end of issue 1 of the Hunted arc, there's a whole fucking back page from Nick Spencer exclaiming how the point HU issues are going to be so key to understanding this story. They've been fucking pointless. 100% pointless. Black Panther, number 12, Taneshi Coates and Jen Bartel. Not reading Black Panther. A lot of people are, though. Daredevil, number 6, Chip Zdarsky, Late Kumar Sharma. I feel like I just talked about Daredevil. Ask me how mad I am about that. I'm not mad at all, because it might be Marvel's best book. That last issue, I was afraid that I wasn't going to get the conclusion to the cliffhanger for 5 weeks, because Marvel will do that sometimes, and especially with the book that comes out monthly, but we're getting it 2 weeks later. Marvel's been teasing that we may get a new identity to Daredevil. There's identity to Daredevil. That's fun to say. Fucking Black Daredevil? I mean, Black... No, God damn it, Comic Skater, shut the fuck up. He's got a black suit. That's what I'm trying to say.
Grace Daredevil.
Maybe, yeah. It's kind of a more of a gunmetal type of gray.
Fall from Grace is like gray and black and red. If the eyes are red, the rest of the suit is black and gray.
Well, I mean, in this whole series, the last issue, issue 5, was Daredevil saying, "I'm done. Take my mask, Spider Man. Man of spiders. I don't need this anymore." And yeah, that's it. So I don't know. I'm very, very, very happy to know that I'll get at least I'm assuming I'm gonna get an answer. Chip Zdarsky's doing an incredible job. Fantastic Four number 10, Dan Slott, Paco Medina. This is a War of the Realms tie-in. This is the only War of the Realms tie-in this week. Way to balance it out, Marvel. I'm excited, though. I am... Actually, no, it's not the only War of the Realms tie-in. It's just so fucking lopsided compared to last week. Giant Man number 2, Lee Williams, Marco Castillo. Possibly one of the more pointless tie-ins, but don't let that take away from the entertainment value of this book. It's fun. It really is. You're going to see a bunch of big dudes put on blue face and fight trolls and demon dogs. I had you at blue face?
Big dudes.
Oh, at big dudes. There are so many Immortal Hulk reprints coming out right now, but there's also a new Immortal Hulk, number 18, Al Ewing and Joe Bennett. If you're not reading Immortal Hulk and you're into comics, then are you protesting something? Are you striking something? It's the most talked about book in all of comics, at least Marvel Comics, that's for fucking sure. And the last issue legitimized that feeling with me.
It's the most positively talked about book in comics right now.
That's for sure. I was probably the only naysayer. I really was. Only because it's really smart, and I always save Immortal Hulk for last, and after you read 375 pages and you read those last 20 pages of Immortal Hulk, you're pretty fucking drained. And it's just good. I don't want to take that away from the story. It's really, really, really good. And I decided to change up my reading formula last week and read Immortal Hulk more in the beginning, and I was able to appreciate it so much more. Abomination. And I'm assuming we get Abomination, and I don't want to give away any spoilers. But, yeah, Immortal Hulk. Read it. I'm going to be giving away a bunch of Immortal Hulk, too. There's two cameo appearances I'm going to be giving away, so, Magnificent Miss Marvel #3, Saladin Ahmed and Minkyu Jung. Surprisingly good book. And I say surprisingly because I will say that she is one of my least favorite heroes in comics, just based off of everything I read from her. G. Willow Wilson, when I was reading G. Willow Wilson's Miss Marvel, I didn't like it. Flat out, didn't like it. Saladin Ahmed does a good job with this character. I'm curious to see where it goes. First issue, super fucking strong. Didn't think I'd read second issue. Drew me into the second issue. Read the second issue. Wasn't as strong. Typical second issue formula. Now let's see what issue 3 does. I'm digging it though.
Skipping over Rob Liefeld.
Yeah, we are. Marvel Spider-Man City at War #3, Dennis Hopeless and Michael Benediti. Video game Spider-Man is relevant in comics. I don't play video game Spider-Man. I don't know video game Spider-Man, but Dennis Hopeless is an amazing writer. This is going to be a mini-series, and that would mean issue 3 would be pretty close to halfway. Beyond halfway, depending on how you round up or down, I don't know. I'll probably read it as a whole when it's all said and done. I probably won't be able to appreciate to its fullest, though, because I don't own a PlayStation. Sony, send me a PlayStation. I'll review your fucking comic. Mr. and Mrs. X has nothing happening this week. Fucking... What is going on here? Star Wars Marvel Volume 1, number 108. I don't know what this is, but Matthew Rosenberg and Giuseppe Camuncoli's on the creative team, and Darth Vader's on the cover. It's a heavy price tag at $6, but I'm going to give it a shot. Oh, what a nice surprise. Vader, Dark Visions, number 4, Dennis Hopeless, and Stephen Mooney. This series has been amazing. It's fucking Vader, being Vader in situations you wouldn't expect Vader to even be in. Last issue, got my book of the week. So, high hopes. Hopeless hasn't been... Hopeless hasn't been letting me down at all. Thanos, number 2, Teenie Howard and Ariel Olivetti. I went into Thanos number 1 with extremely low expectations because Donny Cates set the bar pretty fucking high for Thanos. Issue 1 was incredibly entertaining. Almost got book of the week. We'll see if issue 2 gets issue 2 syndrome and dips down. We'll see, but I will be reading it, no doubt. Thor number 13, Jason Aaron and Michael Del Mundo. This is a War of the Realms tie-in, so I think this is the third one. I got word that I guess Jason Aaron's going to be ending Thor soon. He's going to do... I'm confused because he's doing this Thor now, and then there's a tease that he's going to be doing another Thor that will end his run on doing Thor ever. So I don't know. Stay tuned. I'll give you the information as I know it. I've been loving Thor since the War of the Realms books, though the issues have had nothing to do with Thor, but that seems to be what Jason Aaron's been doing with all of his tie-ins, just like with Avengers. That had nothing to do with the Avengers, really, for the most part, up until, yeah. So, it's been fun, though. War of the Realms, Spider-Man, The League of Realms, number 2, Sean Ryan and Nico Leon. I feel like this isn't necessarily a highly important tie-in. It's Spider-Man sent on a solo mission by Thor to go after this god bitch and convince her to be a good guy. Does it need 3 issues? Probably not. They probably could have finished it in issue 1, but what are you going to do? War of the Realms, War Scrolls, number 2, Jason Aaron and Andre Sorrentino. The last issue was just a bunch of mini stories, and only the first few pages actually tied into the event, or at least the depth of the event, and that would be Daredevil getting Heimdall's sword for a second. You get that for a second, and then it's just a bunch of random shit. I would assume this carries the same type of method. I will be reading it, though. X-23, number 12, Mariko Tamaki and Diego Orlategui. I'm bummed that this one's ending. Why are all the X-Men books ending? Because Robert Hickman threw his dick on the table at Marvel and said, I'm Robert Hickman. X-Men's wrong. X-Men's decent, but you got Marvel as a whole are doing mutants wrong. Not to take away from any creator out there individually. Uncanny X-Men has been amazing. X-23 has been astounding, filling in the shoes of Tom Taylor creating Honey Badger. But when Hickman came in, it didn't dawn on me that all of X-Men is ending. Everything, Mr. and Mrs. X, all of it. And that also means X-23, which is my favorite mutant Marvel book. So we'll see what happens. I'm assuming that Hickman's not going to do Laura and Gabby wrong, though. We got a couple more issues. I think they're going to end at 16. So we got number 12 this week. And let's pick out some random independents. Or not. We'll see. I'm going to scroll into... Oh, Bloodshot. There we go. I knew there was something. Valiant. Bloodshot Rising Spirit, number 7. Kevin Gravatt, Elliot Rawl, and Rags Morales.
That cover B variant is actually a throwback to an old Bloodshot.
It is, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
You are absolutely right. A lot of people are really shitting on this Rising Spirit story, but being a somewhat new reader to Bloodshot, all of my knowledge of Bloodshot comes from my producer talking about Bloodshot. Other than that, this is the first Bloodshot story I've actually read, minus Bloodshot number 1. And I'm enjoying it very much. And I thought this would be a 6-issue mini, and when I seen to be continued at the end of 6, I got really excited. And they're also going to do another so Valiant's going to have 2 Bloodshot runs going on. Rising Spirit is a thing. Deal with it. I'm enjoying it. And I like that I feel every issue they're bringing in a new artist, too. Kevin Gravatt has been writing the whole thing, but every issue has a new artist, and I like it. I like it very much. More indies. There's got to be something, right? Danger Doll has been popular. Number 3, Jason Martin and Marco Maggini. That was one of those books that, if you're into boobies, you could buy a book with boobies on the cover. It's a dark. You just think, for all the older people out there, think heavy metal. That type of, yeah. Jungle Fantasy number 7 is another one of those. They can't even show those covers on Midtown on account of all the butts and boobs. And, that's where I'm going to end it. Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, number 39, Marguerite Bennett and Simone de Mayo. I promise you this time, I will actually talk about Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. On account of a proud to say fan, specifically asked me to talk more about Power Rangers books. And being that there's a big crossover again fixing to happen, big Power Rangers event, why the fuck not? I'm willing to learn about all these new Go-Go Rangers. Not the originals, not our... Yeah. I don't know what to call them. Space Rangers, there's so many of them. Time, we're going to find out. I think the fact is this next issue actually is slurring. Going to reveal a new Ranger. So it's going to be a key potentially. So, yeah. That's next week's hype. There's probably 50 other books there's definitely a bunch of books I didn't talk about.
Comic-Con and War of the Realms.
That's right. Oh, you may be wondering, why didn't I talk about War of the Realms this week? Because there were 9 fucking tie-ins, and I wasn't about to keep you, and none of them, I didn't want to skim through any of them, do any of them any injustice, so War of the Realms will get its own separate podcast coming out later on this week. Stay tuned for that. Comic-Con. Next episode 33 will possibly be delayed because of Denver Pop Culture Con. Not allowed to call it Comic Con anymore. Sorry, don't sue me, San Diego. It's a busy weekend. I'm gonna be there all 3 days with the media pass, getting all of the coverage and interviews I can. So I'm hoping to still get the podcast out on time. But if it doesn't come out, we didn't die. We're just coming out with more and new shit. More creative corners coming at you. That about do it. You guys know where to find us. Watch, listen. Yeah. Cheers, bitches.